Hello everyone, my name is Binks and welcome back to Let's Play Dear Monster. This should be the last episode of this Let's Play, and this should be the last episode of Slagathor's Route. Let's get to it. I wake up snuggled against Slagathor's enormous chest. I look into his eyes and feel his massive dick throb against my thighs. Uh-oh. It's the next morning. Oh, the music. You know what that means. Hello there, babe. Hi. He gives me a long kiss, our tongues sliding against each other. Maybe today we try something different? Sure. Slagathor smiles at me and helps me undress. He's gentle and reverent in his movements, and takes a moment to pull back and look me over once I'm naked. Oh, he's so loving. I think that's what I like about it. Because a lot of the other times, it was passionate or whatever, but it wasn't romantic enough for my taste. I'm like, give me that romance. Slagathor, all about that romance, yeah. You're perfect. Slagathor, you can't say stuff like that. Jeez. Blush. Huh, but it's true. I flush, but Slagathor stops being sappy and instead kneels with his back facing me. I stare at his ass while he spreads my legs. The tin of his special lubricant reappears and he starts prepping himself quickly. Oh, I think we could stop there if we have to, because I think you already know what's gonna happen and what he means we try something different. Role reversal time. I swallow hard. Alright, so I wanted to show there was an image that I thought was kind of censored enough, but the positioning was a little too risque that I was like, I don't want this to get flagged. I mean, I don't get paid anyway, but I don't want any problems, so I'm not going to show it. But you could see based on their positioning who was behind who. I'm like, and they're clearly naked, even if you can't see their bottom half. It's a shame because I wanted you to see how good they looked, but oh well. Anyway, they had a good time. So I don't. I'm vaguely aware of Slagathor pulling free and giving us a quick wipe down, but he only does a little to make sure we're not uncomfortable before he settles next to me. After a while, he gently nudges me. Oh, sorry, cutie, but I need to get up, and leaving you here by yourself makes me kind of nervous. It's my camp, but it's still the woods. Ugh, alright, I'm up. Hey, I wanted to ask. Oh, hey, I wanted to ask. Yeah? Is your campfire always lit? Not sure if that's a literal question or a euphemism. Either way, yeah. The literal one is an enchantment your grandpa did for me. The other one is just nature. You're really not making it easy for me to let you get back to work. Huh, duty calls, baby. We can come back when everyone's been fed. Holding you to that. They're so in like their honeymoon phase. It's so cute. Feel free. Come on. Oh. Abrupt scene change. Slagathor's main focus is clearly to check that nothing went off the rails while we were gone. He goes over all his stock and tools before he starts cooking. He makes a quick breakfast and sets it in front of me. I eat the food as I watch him work. Eventually, he seems to feel a little less guilty about his impromptu day off and turns his attention to me. Alright, should be caught up on everyone's favorite snack supplies. So, the theory on your magic. You've had mixed feelings on magic so far. If you take the block off, it might be harder for you to repress your magic for a while. Are you good with that? Or do you want to wait for Theodore to get back first? Honestly, I'm not even sure if he'll come back. What do you mean? From how you described it, Grandpa was kind of falling apart, wasn't he? I'm worried that maybe he had some kind of magic accident. Yep. We'd be able to tell if something bad happened to him. The mansion would change. If he died, maybe, but what if something happened to him while he was still alive? He could be lost or hurt. I've made up my mind. I want to find him. I'm not waiting for answers. I'm gonna find them myself. I like the enthusiasm, but I have absolutely no idea how to help you with that. I don't know spells. But maybe I can help you break the seal on your magic at least and start looking. Let's do that. You know the rules, though. Yeah, not in the kitchen. Let's head outside. We can look at the barrier too while we're out there. I'm wondering now if it's something like the barrier runes around the camp. What, like an illusion? No, not like that. I mean, something that's supposed to control who goes in or out. Not really a wall. Maybe. Let's head out to look. As we head outside, I stand in front of the barrier looking up at it. It's just an odd little shimmer in the air. Other than the way the light distorts in spots, it's hard to believe there's anything in the way at all. Slagathor comes to stand beside me as I look. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what this thing is. Well, that makes two of us. Maybe breaking the seal on my magic will help? Worth a shot? Slagathor draws me to his chest again, arms wrapping around me. Ready? Yeah, go for it. The feeling begins again, as before, a warm, steady flood of energy through my body. This time, though, as it builds and the strange vice-like feeling starts, there's no abrupt release. Instead, the pressure builds. That tight bind around my lungs grows more and more intense until I feel like I'm suffocating. Slagathor! Hold on, I think I figured it out. You what? As soon as I respond, I feel it. There's another energy flowing through me, all of a sudden, and it's so close to the feeling of my own magic, but different enough that it catches me off guard. It pushes into circle around the other magic flooding me, and the feeling of being tied by it starts to ease, like the second flow is forcing it back open. It's still my magic, but with the edge of natural energy being added by Slagathor. All at once I feel it hit the breaking point, the lock on my magic snapping like a rubber band. We're both flooded by the magic. It's brilliant, thrilling, euphoric. I'm overwhelmed by it. Oh, be careful for him. That's not too good. Don't want to overdose him. And then, softly, the feeling fades and we're back to normal. I blink as the barrier and the garden resettle in my eyes. For a moment I'd forgotten where we even were. Did that work? I think so. I look at my hands, flexing the fingers. Underneath, I can almost feel the warm current of my magic. Maybe I'm imagining it, but I don't think I am. It worked. Good. That was kind of freaky. I was a little worried we'd explode. You said you figured it out. Well, I mean, we did pull it off. I'd say we figured it out. Well, barrier seemed different to you after that? I turned to examine the barrier again, but despite now being able to feel a strange energy in the air in front of me, it's still just as baffling as before. Interesting. Because compared to like other good routes where he kind of like learns and gets a hold of his magic, this one is like he was very avoidant of it to the point where Slagathor just did all the heavy lifting and he just like lent his magic to Slagathor, you know? So it's very different dynamic. I've got nothing. Maybe I should research spells a little. Library? I'll come along if you want. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, because if I go to the library alone, then I'm probably going to be attacked by Farron. Ah, yeah, I don't want you left alone either. That creepy unicorn gonna go after my man. Let's see, it'd probably be best to... Oof! No! You still came after him anyway? Did not call it! You evil creature! Why? Why are you... Thank goodness Slagathor's there. Thank goodness. Begone, demon. Oh, you just could not help yourself, could you? You're like, oh no, the route is almost at an end. I can't let this happen. They're too happy. Oh no. Farron. Alan, oh, you're back. I was worried. You vanished yesterday. Farron stops, his eyes landing on Slagathor. Oh, he vanished from the mirror. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to, right? Your little spy mirror. It's like, oh no, how do you know about that? Yeah. Oh, hello, Slagathor. I noticed you were also gone yesterday. Was it perhaps related? We went for a walk. A walk? Alan is after a book on spells. You know the library best, right? Can you help him out? Yeah, we're not going to answer your questions. Of course. What sort of spell? I feel like I'm missing something here between these two, but I really do want the book, so I choose to ignore it. Yeah, they're literally shooting lightning at each other through their eyes. Get him, Slagathor, get him! A tracking spell. A tracking spell? I'm going to look for my grandpa. Do you know any spells I could use? Perhaps, but with your lack of magical control. His magic's fine now. We'll figure it out. It's... Farron looks at me, and I figure he's probably trying to judge my magic level, but I have no idea how that sort of thing is supposed to work. All I can do is just stand there uncomfortably until he seems to come to a conclusion. You have a familiar bond? But I can't tell with whom. I mean, I wonder who it could be. Although that's strange. For us to have a familiar bond? Eh? But Slagathor shouldn't be able to. I have a what? You didn't know? How could you have developed a bond and not even be aware of it? I turn and look at Slagathor, who mostly seems to be frozen. I mean, you've been helping him, and you've been using his magic, so yeah? Could that be related to us breaking the seal? You two, I apologize. How exactly did Slagathor aid you in removing the seal on your magic? You knew I had a seal on my magic? Oh, go on. Keep putting your foot in your mouth. Of course not for certain. I just noticed that your magic was quiet, and it is much stronger now, so I assumed. But I am curious as to how Slagathor aided you in this, given how he is not a magical being. You're probably just reading it wrong. I absorb a lot of his magic when we're around each other, but it's not like I can pass it back. Familiars don't even make sense to me. I definitely couldn't be one. Right. A moment. Here you are. He hands over a book with black leather and gold stitching. It should help you understand the basics of tracking magic. However, I fear they're likely all too advanced. If you need assistance, simply call for me. Can I see the book? Confused, I hand it over. Slagathor turns the book over and opens it up. He stares into it like it's personally offending him, brows knit tight. Yeah, I thought so. Thought what? It's actually a trick or something? Wordlessly, Slagathor turns the open book around and shows me the page. It's complete nonsense. Or maybe it wouldn't be if I was from roughly 1500, could read Old English, and understood advanced concepts of magic. And the closest I have to any of those things is having read the chapter notes to Beowulf. Oh, Beowulf. Yikes, I remember that. Great, that's certainly helpful. What do we do? Maybe Hikmat could help explain it. I grimace. I'm not sure how many times I can enter the greenhouse with an annoying question before Hikmat uses me as fertilizer. Oh, he wouldn't do that. I don't think he likes me very much. Maybe Momo? Are you forgetting what Momo did to you? Made you see that horrible scene between him and Slagathor? As soon as I ask, I remember the illusion Momo showed me. You two seem to be, close, after all. Huh, we're friends. We did have sex, but, well, we already talked about that. Besides, Momo's not a spellbook type. Other than illusions, I rarely see him try any kind of magic at all. He sticks to his specialties pretty close. Not sure how much he could help. Great. Hikmet doesn't like me. Farron has some kind of ulterior motive. Momo doesn't do this kind of thing. That only leaves... the other hot body bib. The other hot tamale. What about Imbrus? I haven't seen him in a while. Huh! Could you imagine? I wasn't joking. You weren't? Alan, the dragon's only in the mansion at all to try and fight Theodore. Perhaps, probably to the death if he had it his way. You wanna ask him for help finding a guy he wants dead? Well, from what I've heard, he can't win anyway, right? I mean, normally, probably not. But we don't know where Theodore is or how he is. He could be injured or something. And you want to throw a dragon at him? Oh, he's been summoned. What's this about a dragon? A sexy man. It's been so long. I've missed you. I really have missed him, though. I think the amount that I've missed him is just proof that he really is still high on my ranking list. Like, I just love him so much. He's just... he's such a... I just have so much joy from him. You know? The fact that he brings me so much joy, and he's such a... he reminds me of a cat, and he's really naughty. Just, like, he has his dumb himbo tsundere moments. I think that's why I just love him very, very much. I feel like Slagathor's like the good guy, like the marrying kind. Like, you just definitely want to marry him because he's such a catch. And then Imbrus is like the idiot who you want to date because he's an idiot, but has a heart of gold and he's actually really nice underneath all the layers that you gotta break down. You know? And then Hikmat is like the tragic, aloof, cold-hearted at first, but secretly has a soft side, and he's so like, oh, you just want to love and protect him. So I adore all three of them very, very much. Very much. I'm very protective of Hikmat and Slagathor, and I just like, Empress is just, he's so great. And Momo, I don't know. I feel like my ranking system is still pretty... It's actually more intact than I thought it was. Although Momo definitely is not as low as I thought. Like, he alright. You guys should close the door when you're talking shit in a public place. I can hear better than you think. So, giving Theodore up, are you? You know where he is? No. And we're not giving him up. I just... there's really no way around it, I guess. We're trying to find him, but I can't understand the spell. I don't know enough about magic to figure it out. You can't do a basic location spell? Fucking hell. The only reason I haven't done it myself is because I don't have the blood. Blood. It's a blood ritual. Ugh. Orcs. It's not a ritual. No one gets sacrificed. Keep your loincloth on. It just takes a little bit of blood and magic to link the spell up to the right person. The human's blood would probably work since he's a relative, but fuck me if I know where you'd get the geezer's magic that's portable. I'd break a piece of the wall, but there's not enough in there. Maybe something small. Oh, I know. You do? I have a journal of his I found. It's got some kind of spell on it. That should work. Well, that works out, but... Slagathor looks at Empress. Like, if you hurt my man, I kill you. Let me guess. You want to know what I want in exchange for my help. God, you're so hot, Empress. Ugh. Too hot. Lucky for you, it's easy. I just want to hang around while you find him. So you can try to kill him. Yes, and would you rather he stay lost or risk letting me have my revenge? I don't really want to risk Grandpa's life if something is wrong with him. But at the same time, I really need to find him, and Empress clearly knows the spell. I suppose it's not the only option, even if it is the easiest. I could try Hikmet after all, and just hope he likes Slagathor enough to make up for the fact that he thinks I'm a pest. Or, if nothing else, we can try and get a straight answer out of Farron. No, don't do it! It's... fine. Slagathor speaks before I get the chance, and Empress and I both look at him in disbelief. What? You don't have much hope of beating Theodore to begin with, and I'm here to step in if I have to. Even if you're here when we find him, you're not gonna be able to do anything. We'll see about that. Somehow I feel like we're almost worse off than we started. That leaves only one question left. Slagathor points to the open page of the spellbook. Can you do this spell? I have no idea. Maybe I should practice first? Don't be a pussy, it's a blood spell. How much blood do you have to waste on it? If it fucks up, I'll just fix it. I guess I'll just have to give it a try and see what happens? Well, I'm here for you if you need me. I go to my room and get Grandpa's journal, bringing it back into the library. Looking at the spell in front of me, I steel my nerves and cut into my hand a bit, dropping blood on the cover of the journal. I close my eyes and focus on the feeling of the magic on the journal. It's something familiar, almost. It's like a sensory memory. I can't place it, but the magic in the journal is something I think I've felt before. I draw the magic into me, try to memorize it, and then push out into the room, trying to find where else that magic might be. The magic floods out and circles around itself in the air, condensing into a little ball of light. It reminds me of the glow of the rune outside Slagathor's camp, the soft light of magic. The ball zaps away, so we run after it. It reaches the study nearby, and then flickers out. What happened? Imbra shoves me aside, pushing forward to stand where the light disappeared.
What the fuck was that? Who can manage to make a spell work and can't keep it going more than 3 feet? Can't be helped. We'll have to try again later. Later? How much later? By the time he stops being useless, that bastard will die of old age. Fuck it, I'm doing it myself. Screw you two. What a child.
He's not wrong, though. It might take forever for me to be ready.
Maybe, but what choice do we have?
And look at the spot. The spell failed. Why did it stop here all of a sudden? I stepped closer, trying to see if there was something in here that it ran into. Something that made it stop. After a moment, I realized something. The magic in the air there ripples a bit with a strange feeling in it. There's something here. It didn't fail at all. This is the place. I'm not sure how I'm so certain, but I can feel it. The sensation of Grandpa's magic is strong in the air, and it converges here in this spot. I'm not sure why it's so strong right now, when I've walked past this spot so many times since coming here. What is it about this time specifically? That's it.
What's it?
It's not the place that's the problem. It's the time. Grandpa must have been doing a spell involving time. It backfired. He's trapped. I'm going to try and pull him back.
Are you sure? It sounds risky.
I have to.
Alright then, I'm with you. If you need me, I'm here to help, however I can.
I step into the center of the knot of magic. I can feel the world around me ripple. This space is wrong, a scar in the middle of time itself, and if I want to get through it, I'll have to tear it open. For a moment I'm lost, feeling like I'm being sapped away at all sides. But then the harsh, ragged barrage of magic against my system starts to ease, replaced by a familiar warmth. I realize then that Slagathor is helping, drawing away the magic overwhelming me, changing it, and feeding it back, letting me use it without being torn apart by it. With him at my side, I can persist. I rip into the tear in the reality, forcing it open. The study flickers, and I can see through the crack I've torn. Several different versions of the same room overlapping each other. In each of them, another version of myself stands, fighting against the same tide. I realize we have to work together to be able to get through it. I reach out for them. They reach back, each and every one, and we smile at each other, knowing what we need to do. We plunge deeper, beyond the study. We can feel the familiar energy getting closer. It's confused and afraid, but still, it's calling to us. Finally, at the very bottom, we see a shape. We throw ourselves forward and grab it. Our fingers close around something solid. My other selves disappear. I need to go back, but I also need to stabilize the spell, ground the mansion in reality. I reach in every direction and drag us to my world. The time anomaly slams shut as the spell collapses and I'm thrown backward into the study once more. My body burns, full of the magic from the rift and the alternate timelines I saw. The only thing left of Grandpa's spell is a small disruption of space in the center of the study. I look at my hand still holding. His arm is so thin it feels like it might break, so I pull my fingers away. His face is pale, his breathing shallow, but he's alive. His eyes are the same color as mine. He blinks a couple of times as they focus on my face.
Alan.
Yeah, it's me.
It's really you. I haven't seen you in such a long time, but it must be you. But how?
It's kind of a long story. I've saved you before, so we've kind of seen this before. So, yeah, I could kind of skip this. And he's like, you should have left me there.
Hey, that's unfair. Alan gave his all to help you. I bet he's sad to hear you say this.
Slagathor, it's okay. And it's the usual that we've seen, the summary of what happened. So if you guys haven't seen this before, I'm surprised. But yeah, we've seen this before during when I got the good ending for Hikmet and for Imbrus, I believe. Those were the other two I got good endings, so. Very sad. Him summarizing what happened to him, what happened to his grandma. I just don't want to reread all this again for the third time. And Alan's being sweet and like, yeah, you did a stupid thing, but let's forgive and forget and move on, you know? Together. Aw. Today might not be everything I hoped for, but it's a start. Slagathor, I did it. I saved Grandpa. I pause, realizing that Slagathor is shaking heavily. Uh-oh.
That was way too much magic. We can't stay here. I'm not going to be able to keep it together very long.
His huge body is shaking. His jaw is clenched, and he seems in pain. It feels like a fist reached into my chest and squeezed my heart. Slagathor! What should we do?
The camp. We should go back. The druids can help me channel it out.
Every word comes out stilted, like he's straining to hold back a tumult. Is that the correct? That looks weird to me. Slagathor, that's so far. Are you sure?
I don't have a choice. I can't think of anything else. Get one of the others. Have them make a portal.
I. Okay. Okay, just stay here. And please don't die. Yeah, I was kind of worried about the overdose. I ran out of the library to look for someone to help.
Oh dear, someone looks genuinely terrible. What happened?
Momo, do you know how to make portals?
What do I look like? A toddler? Of course I can. Why?
Something's wrong with Slagathor and.
Where?
In the library. He pushes past me into the room. No time to argue, I just turn and quickly follow him in.
Hey there, kitty.
Don't be cute. What the hell's happened to you? You look like you've been hit by a truck.
It's a long story. Can you make a portal for me? Need to head back to my camp.
Camp, Sluggy, love, you're absolutely insane if you think I'm letting you retire.
Just for a checkup. I'm taking Alan, so you know I'll be back.
You'd better, otherwise I'll live out the rest of my days eating conjured food. What a threat. Oh, by the way, look on the ground over there. Your beloved Theodore's over there.
Absolutely not.
Then come back soon, darling. Momo turns to look at me then. And if he does not return, you're going to pay for it. I'm bringing him back, I promise. I'll have to take your word on it for the moment. And if I'm opening a portal, I need to know where to. Slagathor starts to explain the location, but Momo looks increasingly annoyed. It's not dropping a pin on a map. I need to be able to visualize it. I'm more likely to lose you in the woods than anything. Can you show me? What? I've been there before. I can picture it. If you show me how to open a portal. Not on this sort of time crunch. I'm not a teacher regardless. But I am an illusions expert. Picture it as vividly as you can, and I'll access the image in your mind. You can do that? Certainly more easily than you could learn to make the portal. Close your eyes and focus on the memory. Right. I close my eyes and try to remember. Try to remember everything I can about the portion of the woods the camp was in. I imagine the trees, the odd light passing through them, the strange glow of the rune in the grass. Got it. It's open. I'll close it when you're through so no strangers can go in. But you two had better come back quickly. Momo steps back and gestures to a portal in the center of the room. Slagathor gets up and passes by Momo, ruffling his hair.
Thanks, Kit. I'll see you soon. Alan?
I'm coming. Slagathor catches my arm and we climb through the portal. The woods on the other side look familiar, and after a moment I spot the rune in the dirt, telling me we're in the right place. He really did it. I guess. As I take a step toward the rune, it ripples, and the image of the camp appears. I freeze in mid-step, turning back to look at Slagathor. Maybe sharing magic made it recognize you?
Oh, maybe sharing magic made it recognize you.
We don't really have a lot of time to wonder why the rune recognized me, though, because someone else notices us right away.
Slagathor! Daddy! Decided to join the feast, huh? I know you'd. What is wrong with you? Your whole body seems. I need to see the druids again. Of course you do.
The chief looks between me, Slagathor, and the rune on the ground.
It better be worth the risk bringing him back here. You know humans aren't welcome in this territory, let alone wizards. You are not either at the moment, not unless you're willing to admit. I'm not wrong to leave. I wouldn't be back if I could help it. There was a blowback on a spell. I absorbed more than my limit. Can you for once put aside tradition and as my father, help me? You can take the human and see the druids, but what happens after that is up to them. It's not that I want you to suffer, Slagathor, but we have our traditions for a reason. One day you'll figure that out.
That could have gone better. Well, at least this time we get to go in.
Come on, I can't contain this much longer.
Slagathor leads me into the camp. Several orcs turn and watch us as we pass, which makes me, honestly, pretty nervous. But there's not much I can do about it other than stick close to Slagathor and hope for the best. We head to the back, where a large straw hut sits, an odd tapestry hanging over the entrance. Slagathor hesitates only a moment before pushing it aside and stepping in. Several orcs are inside the tent, and they flock to us at once, eyes wide and intrigued as they examine us. They usher us to a seating area and start to look over Slagathor urgently as he explains how the spell had gone, and how he had absorbed a significant amount of magic to help me process it. At last, one of the orcs, an older female, sits back, and everyone else takes an immediate step back from Slagathor as well, following some invisible cue. This is not good, Slagathor.
What do you mean?
I look nervously between them, but few of the druids even spare me a glance. I get the feeling they're all of the same mind as the chief. They'd rather pretend I didn't exist. Honestly, though, I'm not complaining. If they paid any attention to me being in the camp, they'd have to acknowledge it, and given the reception I've gotten so far, I'd rather stay ignored. That being said, I can't stay quiet at the grim looks on their faces. Is Slagathor going to be okay? Can you help him? The druid leader looks at me warily, then back to Slagathor. That is difficult to say. There's a few choices in front of you here, my son. Slagathor sits up, face set sternly.
What are they?
It seems that this little human mage's magic has absorbed deep into your body, deeper than we know what to do with. There's something fundamental in you shifting, and soon it will be past the point we can correct. Slagathor blanches.
And my options?
The path ahead relies on your answer to my question, my boy.
What question? Just ask.
Why won't you return to the tribe? Slagathor draws up, anger in his face strong, probably stronger than I've ever seen it.
Are you telling me you won't help me unless I come back?
No, no, we are honor bound to help you, as we were the ones who raised you with a taste for magic. Your affinity for it was so good. We saw you becoming a master of rune work one day, but that wasn't written in your stars. But the path you've chosen for yourself has already been set out. Your heart has made a choice already. If you can tell us what you're set on, where your priorities lie now, we can determine how best to guide you to turn this curse into a boon.
Fine. But it's not an easy answer. It's not like I can point at one thing and be like, this is why I can't stay. I guess the main thing is that I always felt like I was being tested here. Like everything I did or said could be the thing that made the tribe decide I wasn't worth having around.
My stomach sinks. I think of living with my aunt. All those times I didn't ask for help because I was scared she'd decide it wasn't worth it. Oh,
I always felt like I was having to earn the right to be loved. But at the mansion I'm a part of the family. Theodore never hesitated to welcome me into his home, nor did his folks. And
he looks over at me. I feel myself blush before I can help it.
I found that I hadn't really loved before this either. I feel alive there in a way I never did here.
Oh, now that he says it, I can't help but see everything in a new light. The mansion was a second chance for me, and I don't want to just give it up and go back to medical studies and people pleasing. I see. Well, that's convenient then. Slagathor looks back at her, surprised.
It is? How?
Your magic comes from this human wizard. It is meant for his body, and his body can process it best. However, it has become linked to you. You passed it through your own body, changed it, and gave it back. The two of you cycling it between you. It's similar to how natural magic links plants and animals together. Because you formed this bond of magic, it belongs to both of you, and you are tied by it. Yeah, familiar bond, right? The only way I can see for you two to control it would be to ensure this flow is maintained. You are overloaded now because you cut the flow. Going forward, you will need to constantly share the magic between you. It will be a tether that binds you. The moment you stop, you will both suffer for the loss. So, you're saying...
Farron was right. We have well, that's basically familiar bond. I can't believe.
You're my familiar? Or am I yours?
I, I really don't think it matters. But that means you and I can stick together without worrying about it. You don't need to find a familiar just to control your magic.
And you don't have to block yourself off from it. You can even enjoy magic. You can even use it.
Wow. You know, when you came to the mansion, I knew it would mean stuff would change. but I never imagined it would mean this. But I'm glad it did.
Me too. After spending my whole life just trying to be whatever people needed me to be, it's kind of nice to just be needed as myself.
Just you is plenty for me.
Oh, you guys are so cute.
You're already a handful anyway.
That's saying something, considering your best friend is Momo.
Ha! Speaking of the kid, he's probably panicking. Thank you for your help, elders. We'll be heading home now.
Ah, one last thing.
What is it?
Well, the bond is weak at the moment. We can stabilize it, but it will require an exchange.
You want us to buy it? The druid leader flushes. The tattoo lines on her cheeks becoming harder to see as her skin darkens with the blush.
No, not between you and I, but between the two of you. I want to watch. We will apply a few temporary runes to your skin, and that will allow your magic to connect more deeply. But at that point, you must consummate.
Do we need to do it in front of you, or is that just your kink? Like, seriously, come on now.
No, do not. You may do so in your own home, just so long as it is within a day. The runes remain until the end of it.
I sigh in relief. Slagathor didn't look particularly bothered, which makes me wonder. But I wasn't sure about the idea of a group of orc priest voyeurs watching me get it on. That's settled. We accept. And the priest draws a few runes on our skin. They look like regular tattoos at a glance, but if I focus, the ink seems to shimmer and move.
Ah, one last detail. It will work best if you mirrored the exchange of magic with your positions, meaning,
Do it both ways. Alan Tops. Got it.
What? I do?
Unless you don't want to.
I mean, it was fine last time. Oh, is Slagathor blushing? I gotta see a little blush there. I don't want to be having this talk in front of a bunch of priests, but I'm pretty sure my face makes it clear I very much do want to top him.
Let's go home then.
We both smile at each other before bidding goodbye to the druids on the way out. One orc warrior even foists what looks like an absolutely massive turkey leg onto Slagathor, who eagerly informs me it's from the Firebird, from the smallest of its 6 sets of legs. I'm grateful I never actually saw the bird alive. That sounds horrifying. The chief doesn't approach or say anything, but at the last second he cuts us off on the way out, and wordlessly shoves something at us before vanishing back in the crowd of the tribe. I turn it over in my hands, curious, until it finally clicks what he gave us. Another token?
Huh. I think he finally decided he's stuck with you.
I should hope so. I don't really plan on going anywhere. We head back to the mansion, where we're immediately confronted by a very fussy Momo, who scolds us both for doing stupid blood magic rituals we know nothing about, and then leaves in a huff when he realizes we're in too good a mood to feel sorry about it. They're probably going to be showing them in a risque position soon, which means I will have to cut that out, which sucks because it's probably going to be their last little speech at the end like they always do, but you know, I'll try to summarize it. As soon as he leaves, Slagathor drags me out to the kitchen and lays out, letting me take the lead. Yep, here it comes. Aww. The ending kind of makes me... Aww, it's so sweet, so I wish you guys could have seen it, but like, so basically, he was saying that He continued studying the spells and magic books, so he learned how to control his magic and use portals. And that little token that the chief gave him kind of started ringing not too long later to like summon them to let them know the camp wanted them. So now the orcs kind of like call them over, like mostly calling Alan actually, like, hey, come over here. And it's like for stuff like, hey, Slagathor, come cook us this. Or, hey, Alan, we need your help with that because they found out that Alan knows a little bit of modern medicine. So Alan is able to use his medical knowledge over there. And so now he was saying how they have a nice extended family with the orcs, and they also have their family now at the mansion. So they're very happy together, and that he is happy because him and Slagathor are two halves of a whole. So it was very beautiful, very touching, and of course the sex scene was, the image was gorgeous. Funny how they made it sound like Alan was on top, but I guess they meant in a different way. But anyway, Buddies for Life is the title of their happy ending. Because I like the fact that they point out that they really are friends in addition to being romantic partners. So anyway, yes, that is it for their route. That is it for Slagathor. That's it for this Let's Play. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I know this was a long one. I really wanted to show at least one route, one storyline per person, and I'm glad I was able to do that. And I am looking forward to playing the other routes and everything in my free time with Coco so she can see all the other endings, because this game is so good. It's rare for me to love a game so much that I just play it again and again and again, but this is one of those that I highly recommend if you like BL and yaoi and all of that. It's great. Really great. And for my ranking system, I'm still a hot mess, but I think at the end of the day, I gotta say, I think Hikmet is still number one for me. There's just something about him. It might change after Coco and I replay everything, but for now, I'm gonna say Hikmet 1, Embers 2, Slagathor 3. So that's pretty much how it was for me before. My ranking in the end has not changed. I love Slagathor, don't get me wrong. But even though he's such a sweet, nice guy, I feel like the variety in the endings and the routes that I remember for Imbris and Hikmet is what makes me rank them higher. Because with Slagathor's routes, no matter what, Slagathor was always a good guy. Even in like the bad ending, you kind of just felt bad for him. And I can't spoil anything, but like no matter what, at the heart of him, he's just a really good guy. But I like it when there's a little more variety, a little more spice. So I think that's the only reason that he's number 3. That's literally the only reason. And Momo's still number 4, even though I do have a better opinion of him. And at the infinity bottom is always gonna be Farron, because I can't stand him. Always in the gutter. Go in the gutter, Farron. Anyway, I love to hate him. I love to hate him. He's literally my favorite character to hate on now. No matter what. Alright. This was fun. I don't know. I think for now I'm probably gonna focus on finishing up the Great Ace Attorney 2. I want to just have one game on my channel at a time. Just focus on finishing that. So, yeah, that's what I'll be doing for the next while. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Bye-bye.